Imagine being reincarnated inside a novel, not as the hero, not as the villain, just the guy in the background whose only job is to breathe quietly and avoid messing up the plot. So, you spend your entire life doing absolutely nothing important, living like a professional extra. Also, the story can end exactly the way it's supposed to. And we are finally sure that things are on track, that any moment now you'll return to your real world and meet your family, your friends, everyone you miss. The universe decides to pull a prank. Right at the finish line, the main protagonist fails to defeat the main antagonist and dies just like that. No warning, no retries. Even Google Maps couldn't help you find the original storyline now. Naturally, any normal human would panic. And Kim Sean-woo, the actual main character of this mess, is no exception. He stands there wondering what on earth he's supposed to do while the entire novel world starts collapsing like a badly written ending. And his own death is pretty much guaranteed. But just when everything seems hopeless, a system window pops up in front of him, like the universe saying in GT, and GT, surprise, mother, and GT, and GT. He backed away from the message, confused as cracks formed through the air around him. The light intensified, shattering everything in front of him. Voices echoed in the darkness, calling him a student and urging him to wake up. Someone shouted the word again, louder. He flinched as he opened his eyes to find a man calling him continuously. The man demanded to know why he wasn't getting off from a bus, reminding him they were already at the academy. He sat frozen as the bus driver stared at him, asking again if he planned to get off. The driver reminded him they had reached the academy long ago. He blinked, murmured an apology, and hurriedly stood up. As he stepped into the aisle, a thought struck him. He wondered if the driver had really called him a student. He recalled being in his room moments earlier, unsure why he had woken up on a bus. The collapse of the world still lingered in his mind, leaving him questioning whether it had been a dream. He stepped onto the ground, puzzled by the familiar scenery beneath his feet, shielding his eyes from the bright sunlight. He looked around. The place felt unmistakably familiar. Before him stood the academy he once graduated from. A banner declared the year 2032. The number felt wrong to him. He stared down at his uniform and tie, disbelief rising. He checked his wrist and froze. His younger body stared back at him. Shocked, he whispered that he had gone back 7 years. A speaker welcomed everyone to the Korea Magic Academy. The announcement continued, stating that the entrance and opening ceremonies would begin soon. Students were asked to take their seats. He stood among the students and noted that everything matched the way it had been 7 years ago. He concluded that at this rate, he had no choice but to accept it. He acknowledged that he had returned to the past. His younger self appeared in his thoughts before he questioned why Leo Jun had died. He scratched his head while wondering about it. According to the original work, there had been absolutely no reason for Leo Jun to die. Images of Leo Jun struggling appeared in his mind. Cruis going on a rampage had matched the original flow, and Leo Jun had succeeded in suppressing him after a desperate battle. He reasoned that this meant there had to be another cause behind Leo Jun and LT, Unk and GT's death. He admitted he did not know and sank into his seat. Around him, students filled the hall. As he walked through the aisle, he wondered what would happen if Leo Jun also died in this life. He pictured the purple-lit world and questioned whether he would go back to the past again or face the end of the world. He did not know the answer, but he recognized one clear point. Leo Jun must not die. He narrowed his eyes and decided he needed to take action in this life, even if it was only to return to his original world. He clenched his fist and resolved that he had to prevent Lee Seojin's death. He decided he must see the novels ending no matter what. To do that, he walked and sat beside Batty while greeting her with a casual hi. She glanced at him while he told himself it would be best to get close to the key characters. He identified her as Yua R.A., second-year rank 2, one of the people he needed to approach. She looked at him and asked if he knew her. She added that he was acting like they knew each other when they had barely met. He kept smiling as she questioned him. She asked why he was staring and if he had something to say. He answered no. She told him to look away, saying it was uncomfortable. He swallowed quietly and thought that this would not be easy. Inside the hall, students filled the seats. A voice asked the grade representatives to come up to the podium. Footsteps echoed as they walked toward the stage. The crowd murmured as 3 students stood on the platform. Someone commented that the aura was impressive and said he had learned directly from Chairman Kim Jin-cha. Another added that his talent must be in a league of its own. A name tag identified him. Second-year rank 1. The Isiu Yunyo. Our main protagonist Kim Seon-woo thought that Lee Seo-jun was famous even though he was still a student. The reason behind that is Modern Wizard was a protagonist-centered novel where the main character handled everything alone. Attention shifted as the freshman top student appeared, and students murmured that she was very pretty. Kim Sean-woo noted that even her smile was probably calculated since her goal was directing. Another student stepped forward, and the crowd whispered that he had been rank 1 for all 3 years. Kim Sean-woo thought that he didn't look amazing. He didn't know much about that person. He recalled that the senior had very little presence in the original work. The announcement declared the start of the student oath. The representatives raised their hands, beginning with the words that they swear. He glanced toward URA only for his hand to heat up. A surge of heat spread from her direction, and he commented that it was hot. He wondered if he should use this moment to score some points and called it pity. She looked back and asked what he meant by calling it a pity. URA confronts Kim Sun-woo and asks what he thinks he knows, demanding whether he has ever seen others use magic. He admits he has not. When she questions why he is speaking nonsense, he says he can tell just by looking. She reacts in confusion, and he states that he has good intuition. Leaving her stunned, she asks if he is kidding, but he answers no. As she grows more agitated, he wonders if his approach is not working and decides to try something else. He tells her she has been worried about her career path lately. She silently wonders how he knows. Reading the name on his uniform, she says Kim Sun-woo. URA says she remembered his name and tells him not to speak to her from now on. He becomes uneasy, thinking the situation went wrong, then concludes he failed from the start. The Magic Academy's new semester begins with a placement test on the first day to determine rank, essentially an initiation ceremony to reveal oneself before the entire school. In class, a student worries about the placement test, while another says at least he has some skill and claims he is doomed. Sun-woo observes them and thinks they are cute kids. He states that his goal is to enter the top 10 of his second year. He remembers receiving multiple offers for promotion to B class in his previous life and considers these students nothing challenging. Kim Sun-woo thinks that performing at an average level against these students would hurt his pride and decides to show the skills of a professional. URA watches him and wonders what is going on with him. A student unleashes powerful ice magic, surrounding themselves with sharp frozen energy and then charging forward while shouting. The attack strikes the training dummies and shatters them. Students watching comment on the skill displayed, saying he is really good and that they would believe he belonged in the upper ranks of the second year. Another remarks that his face and skills are both impressive. The instructor announces the second year's turn. As names are called, Ra steps forward and conjures blazing fire magic. She launches herself forward and strikes the target with a powerful impact, creating a fiery explosion. Students react in shock, questioning if she is really their age and saying her abilities look professional. Sun-woo says that if Leo Jun did not exist, URA would be considered legendary. Leo Jun prepares for his turn. He charges forward with a swirling blade and attacks the training dummies. The impact sends them flying as the student continues striking until all targets fall. He stands amid the scattered remains. The watching students react with surprise, and URA glances toward him unimpressed. Sun-woo thinks that URA is good too, but notes that Leo Jun earlier was practically an active pro mage. URA has always had first place taken by someone like Leo Jun, so she must be frustrated. Kim Sun-woo's name is then called. He acknowledges that it is finally his turn. From the spectator area, a teacher asks who Kim Sun-woo is, saying he handled first years last year. Another teacher explains that Kim Sun-woo is in his class, that he does not have much presence, and that he might not remember him. They mention that last year's records show talent in enhancement magic. Another teacher questions this since he appears empty-handed. A comment follows that he must have switched to manifestation, with a note that some students do that sometimes Sun-woo begins forming magical energy. Someone observes that he is making what he likes his specialty rather than what he is good at. Another person says he seems more ordinary than expected, and the reply agrees. A teacher suddenly reacts, recognizing something about him as Sun-woo continues forming a swirling magical manifestation in his hand. Teacher wonders if Kim Sun-woo just used compressed materialization. The explanation follows that manifestation magic's first stage is materialization. The advanced technique of compressing materialized mana to control the next stage emission is called compressed materialization, and that is normally used only by veteran mages. URA and another student react in shock. The thought arises questioning how a second-year student can use that technique. Sun-woo continues channeling the magic and releasing it upward. The force surges into a column that smashes through the training dummies. The students watching are stunned. One lets out a small sound, then mutters poof. Laughter spreads through the crowd as some speculate he ran out of mana and claim he cannot perform a mission. They say materialization is pointless if he cannot follow through with it. Kim Sun-woo thinks he is in trouble. Then he begins receiving notifications that surprise him, and he stares at the results in confusion, questioning why is it opening now. Later he sits in his room, looking at the window. He sighs and wonders why the window opened at that moment, noting that in his previous life, it opened around the same time when he was in his room. Kim Sun-woo wonders why things are different now and recalls the moment from earlier when he was at academy and performing his skills. He sees the notifications appearing in front of him and reacts in confusion. Messages state that outsider benefits have been unlocked. New authority has been granted and the system has been activated. More notifications appear. The main scenario has begun. An achievement called Life. Round 2 has been completed with a reward of 3,000 points. Another achievement, Talent of the Jester, has been completed and he's received additional points. More messages say that 232 people now remember his face and students nearby tell him to leave. Another reward of 1,000 points is given, followed by the notice that Lee Seo-jun has taken an interest in him, adding another 1,000 points. A message then states that 4 major characters have noticed him, giving him 3,000 more points. Sun-woo sits and realizes he earned 10,000 points in a short time. He thinks about using them and notes that the outsider benefits had to open. He brings up the outsider benefits interface. A description says it is a privilege only he as someone possessed by this world can use. The achievement system activates, showing various information windows. He reads that points can be earned by accumulating achievements and that the fame system also gives points as he becomes more well-known. The notifications list the points he has received. He then focuses on the point shop, which he considers the best part of the outsider benefits. It allows him to use points to buy traits, skills, or items. Kim Sun-woo thinks it is great to have points, but feels that no matter what, the talent of the jester is harsh. He recalls that he had forgotten he's still Lackman at that time. He notes that this is the first time he has received so much attention in both his past and current life, and that he earned points from it, though he is still not convinced about the talent of the jester. He wonders how strong his current ability is and tells the system to check the ability window. A window displays his information. Name Kim Sun-woo. Points 10,000, health 42, mana 21, strength 34, speed 20, agility 32, dexterity 28. He reacts in shock, wondering how much he invested in his stats before, and realizing they have reset, he questions when he'll be able to raise them again, then stops and realizes he can redistribute stats in this life. He recalls that this world has 4 types of magic: enhancement, manifestation, support, and summoning. Enhancement strengthens weapons or the body. Manifestation materializes and projects spells. Summoning and support focus on summoning magic and support magic respectively. He chooses manifestation as his specialty, thinking that if he's going to use magic, it should at least look cool. Since he is a manifestation type, he decides to prioritize the mana stat. A notification appears stating that 350 people now remember his face, giving him 1,000 points. Kim Sun-woo notices that many more people recognized him in a short time. He realizes that one gesture act increased his points this much. He considers it a good situation, then decides it is a fantastic situation. Another notification appears. 400 people now remember his face, giving him 2,000 points. He wonders how more people know him than the entire school, and then quickly checks his phone. He opens a page titled Forest of the Great Sage and selects Korean Magic Academy. A post shows a video of his placement test with many comments reacting to it. He notes that he did not expect his test video to become so popular. He finds it embarrassing but appreciates the points and hopes more will come in. As he watches the notifications increase, he focuses fully and thinks that with this, he has achieved full attention. He believes that with this attention, he can earn a lot and buy what he wants. The next day, students whisper as he enters. They identify him as the person from yesterday's video. He walks through the hallway while listening to their reactions. He thinks they should keep talking and looks at the view count of the uploaded test video, seeing that it was worth pulling aggro all night. A post title reads, Crazy Yes to Rank Magician Scandal. Comments discuss the video, questioning whether students at the academy are really that bad. One commenter says they have never used magic before, but can tell he cannot do it. Kim Sun-woo watches and thinks he earned another 5,000 points because of it. He walks down the hallway and stops in front of a classroom door. When he enters, students notice him and call his name. A blonde student points at him and calls out to him, saying, Yesterday was hilarious. The student puts an arm around him, saying, Everyone laughed after he showed off. Another asks how his mana ran out and questions whether he got into the academy through money. Kim Sun-woo identifies the blonde student as Park and Won. He remembers that Park and Won played the crazy one early in the story and thinks nothing good comes from getting involved, so he should stay put. Park and Won calls him and says that from today his name is Troublemaker, telling him to come when called. He warns that otherwise school life will be hard for him. Lee tells Park and Won to stop and asks Park and Won if he was not told not to bully others. Park and Won sigh and says that the genius everyone watches Lee Seo-jin seems to want to play hero while ordinary students just park, and Won says that ordinary students should just follow along quietly. Lyo Jun calls his name. Park and Won looks back as Lyo Jun stares at him. Park and Hwan then tells his group to go and walks away with them. The door closes loudly as Kim Sun-woo watches. Lyo Jun approaches and asks if he is okay. Kim Sun-woo answers that he is fine. Lyo Jun confirms his name and mentions the video from yesterday. Kim Sun-woo responds that he is fine. Kim Sun-woo suddenly reacts and thinks he cannot take the pressure. He notes that the video is already spreading a lot. Lyo Jun tells him not to worry too much and says the malicious spreader is at fault. Kim Sun-woo agrees. As Lyo Jun starts to leave, Kim Sun-woo calls out to him and asks him to team up with him. Lyo Jun responds with confusion. Kim Sun-woo explains it is for the first class of the semester and that they will be on the same team. Lyo Jun questions why it has to be him. Kim Woo approaches and tells him it will be good for him as well. Lyo Jun reacts with confusion, asking why he would do that. Sun-woo leans closer and says it will be good for him too. Seo Jun thinks for a moment, then apologizes, saying he never really considered Sun-woo a teammate. Sun-woo insists and tells Seo Jun there are 2 reasons he must team up with him. Seo Jun asks to hear them. Sun-woo explains the first reason. He is ranked dead last in the entire second year. Seo Jun questions whether that even counts as a reason. Sun-woo reminds him that joint tests have handicap scores. If the top ranker teams with the last place, their combined score becomes higher. Seo Jun acknowledges that it makes sense, but thinks the risk is still too high. Sun-woo moves to the second reason. He says Yuara has already picked 2 low-ranking students for her team. Seo Jun reacts with surprise. Sun-woo continues explaining that Yuara specializes in AoE magic, so she will be fine even with 2 dead weights slowing her down. Lyo Jun considers the explanation and acknowledges that is true. Kim Sun-woo raises 3 fingers and says the third reason. Lyo Jun reminds him that he previously said there were only 2 reasons. Kim Sun-woo states that the third reason is himself, adding that he is actually skilled for someone in last place. Lyo Jun laughs and tells him he is hilarious. He agrees to team up, but adds one condition. Kim Sun-woo reacts with confusion. Lyo Jun states that he will choose the rest of the team members and asks if Kim Sun-woo minds. A message appears stating that the character Lyo Jun is deeply intrigued, followed by another message noting that Kim Sun-woo has acquired 2,000 points as a reward. Kim Sun-woo accepts the condition and says it sounds good. Later in class, the instructor explains that the origin of magic traces back to the 14th century and that the system once consisted of only 2 types. The instructor adds that the old 2-system structure eventually collapsed. She asks the class for the reason. Kim Sun-woo raises his hand. The instructor calls on him. Kim Sun-woo answers that it was Kajim, the first reinforcement type mage who appeared in the 18th century. The instructor confirms that the answer is correct and praises his work. The instructor continues explaining that the appearance of Hai Jiam shocked medieval mages who supported manifestation-type magic. Manifestation mages of that time could not match Jim at all. From that point onward, research into reinforcement-type magic expanded rapidly. Kim Sun-woo listened silently. Kim Sun-woo thought that classical magic theory and complex formulas are challenging even for Lyo Jun. Kim Sun-woo reviews his notes, thinking that the material is difficult for others, but not for him. The outsource perk provides all the basic information and even interprets it, making him more confident than anyone else during written exams. He finishes writing energetically. Other students whisper among themselves, wondering who he thinks he is and mocking the mention of Hermione. Some question the point of listening to him when he ranks last. Sun-woo internally tells them to speak up if they are jealous. The class ends and the instructor wishes everyone a pleasant lunch break. Students begin leaving the room. As Sun-woo walks out, someone calls his name. He turns toward the voice. Lee Seo-jun approaches him and suggests they grab lunch together to celebrate becoming teammates. They head to the cafeteria, pick up their trays of food, and walk through the dining area. Saejin points out an empty seat. A student waves both hands excitedly and calls out to Seo-jin, and Sun-woo recognizes him as Shin Yong-jin. Seo-jin joins Yong-jin at the table. Yong-jin explains that teaming up with top rankers results in low scores and comments that it seems the top students have split up this time instead. Shin Yong-jin recognizes Kim Sun-woo and says he saw the video. Sun-woo confirms. Yong-jin asks when Sun-woo and Lee Seo-jun became close. Seo-jun answers that it was just earlier and says they decided to go dungeon exploring together the day after tomorrow. Young Jin reacts with surprise. Seo Jun tells him that even without the last place handicap, Young Jin's team could take first place. Young Jin questions why they bothered. Seo Jun says Yua Ra is out for blood. Young Jyn asks why her. Seo Jun explains that she put 2 bottom rankers on her team. Young Jyn comments that she is intense. Seo Jun suggests they eat. Sunwoo agrees, saying he was starving. They continue their meal while someone from another table watches them. The observer thinks that Sunwoo is the person posted on the Great Sage's Forest. A girl asks her friend Seo Yun what she's looking at. Seo Yun says it is nothing, then continues watching. She wonders how Sunwoo became close to Seo Jun. Later, students practice magic in another area. Kim Sun-in-woo prepares to test his magic. He decides to try the amount of controllable mana. He activates manifestation and forms a sphere of mana. He continues into emission and then proceeds into manipulation. Kim Sun-woo's mana projectile travels across the hall and curves through the air. It stabilizes and spins as it moves forward. Students react in surprise. One student says it is not completely terrible. Another comments that he is better than expected. Sunwoo thinks that he can hear everything they are saying. Later he thinks back to before regressing when he used points to buy stats. He remembers raising his stats in the early stages, but the price of stats increased with every purchase, making them unaffordable. He notes that this follows the same logic as leveling up becoming harder in a game. He considers the long-term approach and thinks it is better to raise stats using traits or items that boost mana rather than buying them with points. He searches for mana-related options and scrolls through a list of traits and items. He wonders where the trait from the middle of the novel is. A trait appears, Nature's Blessing. It states that cultivating mana grants additional mana, depending on the surrounding environment up to a set amount. Sunwoo identifies it as the one he was looking for. He then looks at the returner's watch, which increases health and mana regeneration speed. He notes that he bought it by selling Culinary Master, a trait he inherited in this life. He reflects that traits can be sold for points and that selling them can be useful, though it feels wasteful since he used them well. He stands up preparing to move. Kim Sun-woo thinks that thanks to buying Nature's Protection and the returner's watch, his starting point is much faster than before he regressed. His phone begins vibrating. He wonders who would contact him and checks the screen. He looks at the message and reacts, recognizing it. A group chat is shown. Shinji Hayak, Yoon Haeong, and Young Jin are listed. Sunwoo reads their names. He notes that except for Yoon Haeong, the others appear to be low-ranked. He recalls that Yoon Haeong becomes a key character later on, but she has not realized her own skills yet, so her role should still be small at this point. A message appears in the chat asking everyone to share their main specialty, explaining that some may not know each other's abilities. Shinji Hyuk writes that he uses support magic with manifestation magic as a subspecialty. Yoon Haeong writes that she uses manifestation magic with ice as her element and support magic as her subspecialty. Young Jin writes that he uses enhancement magic and that his subspecialty is manifestation magic, but he is not good at it. Sunwoo adds that he uses manifestation magic with no element. Another message from the group states that everyone in the academy already knows he uses manifestation magic. Sunwoo reacts to the message and replies that he is just letting them know. He decides that they will set Lee Seo Jun as the main, and the rest of them will provide support. He thinks that if they want first place, they need to perform better than Yuara's team. He wonders who Yuara chose for her team. Students practice magic outdoors, launching their mana outward. An instructor tells a student that he is focusing too much on control and neglecting the release, advising him to put more power into his mana and let it fly faster. He responds in acknowledgement. Nearby, Yoon Haeong gathers ferret-type mana in her hand, releasing a large explosion of flames across the training area. Other students react to the display. The instructor observes her and notes internally that her skill is incredible, describing it as natural talent and aptitude. She considers that perhaps Yun's age explains some roughness in her technique and thinks she still needs refinement. She evaluates that Yun's mana utilization is somewhat lacking. Her attention is then caught by another mana burst. She turns and sees a powerful blast of blue mana streaking forward. She watches and thinks it is not bad. Sunwoo reacts with satisfaction. She remembers that earlier Sunwoo had been so focused on materialization that he failed at the release. Now using minimal mana, he demonstrates perfect release and control. She reflects that identifying one's own flaws at his age is not easy. Watching him continue, she smiles proudly. The specialty class ended and the teacher told the students they had done well. The students thanked her as they walked off. Some said the lesson relieved stress, and others commented that it felt like a real class. One student decided to go rest. The teacher called for student Kim Sunwoo. He turned and answered. She praised his work in class and asked if he had been keeping up with his training. He replied that he practiced in his spare time. She asked about his mana cultivation, saying he was doing that regularly as well. Sunu thought to himself that she had noticed his low mana capacity compared to his current skill. He told her he was cultivating mana. She said he was good at everything else, but lacked mana capacity, and explained that accumulating mana required consistent effort. Sunwoo promised to work hard. She handed him an item, explaining it helped with mana breathing and maintaining his condition. Sunwoo hesitated and asked if it was really okay for him to accept it. She told him not to feel burdened. She added that it was just an F-rank item for practice that did not cost much. Sunwoo accepted it and said he would use it well. She reminded him that class was over and he should get going. Sunwoo walked away humming about the unexpected gift. Ahead, he noticed someone and wondered if it was who he thought. Yoon Haeong leaned against the wall. She called out to him, addressing him as Kim Sunwoo. He asked if it was okay for her to speak to him after telling him not to talk to her the day before. She stayed silent. Yoon Hae told Sunwoo she heard he was in the same group as Seo Jun this time. Sunwoo asked how she knew. She said it looked like he was trying to leech off the top-ranked Seo Jun. She pointed at him and said that even so, first place would be hers this time, telling him to get real. She turned and left. Sunwoo wondered why she was so sensitive. On Thursday morning, students gathered near the dungeon gates. Sunwoo ran up. Relief he arrived in time. Lee So-jun said it was the first time their group was all together. He encouraged everyone to do their best for the first semester, and the others agreed. One student commented that their team was unique since they had both the first place and last place students together. Sunwoo wondered if it was sarcasm. The boy asked if Sunwoo could handle things, reminding him he couldn't cast a single spell during the last test. Sunwoo realized he was being sarcastic. Another boy said that since Seo Jun brought Sunwoo, Seo Jun would figure out how to take care of him. Sunwoo realized he planned to rely on Seo Jun. Sunwoo noted that Yoon Haeong and LT, Unk and GT's spotlight episode was still far away. The girl greeted Seo Jun warmly. Sunwoo wondered if his presence had changed the team composition and thought that Yoon Haeong was one thing. Sunwoo wondered if the test would be okay with the members he had. The instructor called for attention and explained the dungeon exploration. He said the class would be conducted in 2 sessions, morning and afternoon. Since it was the first day, they would only explore the first basement floor. He continued by explaining how the class would be graded. He said the first factor was dungeon clear speed, where faster groups earn more bonus points. The second factor was the rank adjustment score, where the lower the teammate's rank compared to one zone, the more individual points were given. The final factor was contribution. He explained that artificial dungeons had a special contribution system and additional points were awarded based on how much each person contributed to the team. He instructed everyone to prioritize safety. The students agreed. He told them to enter the dungeon by team, wishing them a safe trip. Inside the monitoring room, multiple screens showed the dungeon interior. A teacher greeted Mr. Jang, who had arrived after sending the students in. They said they had been waiting for him because they needed to bet on which group would earn the highest score. Another teacher pointed out that everyone would choose Yoon Haeong and LT, Unk and GT's team, and she admitted she had picked Group 7 as well. One teacher said the bet was off, but another activated the system and declared the bet on and explains that she's betting on Group 3, where Seo Jun is. Another teacher notes that although Seo Jun and Yu Era, or say Yoon Haeong's both form teams with low-rank students, the situations differ. He states that Seo Jun's teammates are unstable and that Seo Jun has limits as an enhancement type. The teacher acknowledges that enhancement magic is specialized for one-on-one combat, making it difficult to handle multiple enemies without team support. She observes Yuara Ra, who specializes in area of effect magic and has already reached the middle of the first floor. She says she still believes in the possibility of the lowest-ranked team rising and suggests watching to see who wins the bet. Inside the dungeon, Seo Jun defeats a wolf-type monster. Sunwoo and the others move forward as a group. One teammate comments that Seo Jun fights well. Another notes that they are already halfway through. They discuss what the first floor boss might be, assuming it will be a weak creature. The girl says that a boss may still be strong and asks Sun what he thinks will appear. Sunwoo responds that a giant wolf will appear. A teammate asks how he knows that Kim Sunwoo claims he has his own methods, leaving the student remembering that he has experienced Sunwoo and LT, Unk and GT's tricks before. The student privately judges Sunwoo as a habitual liar. While Sunwoo dismissively tells him to believe it or not, student laughs loudly, provoking him and insists he does not believe Sunwoo. Saejin stops the growing argument and urges the group to move faster. The student named Yeonwoo agrees, and the group continues walking. After a short while, Saejin suddenly stops, and the others question him. They tease him about being scared, but Seo Jin calmly states that something is on the ground. The group turns their attention downward, noticing a glowing formation. Seo Jin identifies it as a magic circle, though he cannot determine its type. Others wonder why it is there and whether it is dangerous, while one insists the academy would not give them anything harmful. Kim Sun-woo kneels to inspect it despite Seo Jin warning him to be careful. Sun-woo insists it is fine and examines the circle closely. After a moment of thought, he concludes it is only a basic barrier. Min-jae questions how he knows that. Sun-woo recalls seeing the same barrier unfold in his previous life. He reaches out toward the circle, touching it as energy reacts to his hand. Then he shows the others the magic circle and tells them to look. Youngwoo claims he already knew. Another complains that they cannot pass like this and wonders if they must go back. A girl asks if there's another way. Seo Jin tells everyone to step back so he can try cutting the barrier with his sword. He gathers power and strikes. Light bursts from the impact. The group watches and asks if it worked. A crack appears, but the barrier stays intact. Youngwoo comments it was close and another thought it would succeed. Saejin says he feels it might work if he does it properly. Seo Jin prepares again, wondering if it is time for him to step up. Youngwoo steps forward, saying he may look like this, but is a support type. He tells him to wait a bit and reaches toward the circle. He touches it and examines it with a troubled expression. He says the structure is complicated and might take a long time, about 10 minutes, but he will try his fastest. Kim Sun-woo places both hands on the magic circle and channels power into it. Blue energy gathers around him. System messages activate, stating that his unique trait Out's benefit is interpreting the magic formula. Symbols appear in front of him, and he studies the structure. The information reveals that it is the Korea Magic Academy, his artificial dungeon, first floor barrier with low difficulty, and that the first floor boss is a giant wolf. Sun-woo continues adjusting the formula, and the symbols shift. He comments internally that the Korea Magic Academy must have built it sloppily. The symbols realign, forming clear instructions. The system repeats the barrier description and the boss information. Sun-woo completes the adjustment and presses into the circle. The barrier dissolves and opens. The others react with shock. Sun-woo celebrates, saying they succeeded, as Seo Jin and the others express disbelief at how fast it happened. A message appears stating that Lyo Jun feels surprised toward Sun-woo and that his interest in Sun-woo increases. Another message states his interest level rising to level 1 and awards Sun-woo 5,000 points. Sun-woo questions what the interest level means. A sound draws their attention, and the group looks up to see a large wolf standing at the top of the stairs. It roars as it prepares to attack. The wolf is identified as the giant wolf, the first floor boss. The group tenses as the monster leaps toward them. One student remarks that it is exactly as Kim Sun-woo said. The wolf leaps down aggressively toward Lee Seo Jun. Seo Jun reacts immediately and strikes the wolf with a bright slash of energy, knocking it away. The wolf collapses, defeated. Seo Jun stands after delivering the blow. The group gathers around the defeated boss. One student comments that it is as expected of Lee Seo Jun, treating the boss as if it were a normal monster. The dungeon door opens. The students celebrate, saying the exploration is over, and they exit the dungeon. Outside, the instructor praises Group 3 and announces they earned second place for week 1. A student asks about first place. The instructor explains that first place is Group 7, which cleared the dungeon 30 minutes earlier. Lyo Jun remarks that it is URA and LT, UNC and GT, S-Team. Two students check the rankings on their devices. One says URA finished in 4 hours and 11 minutes and comments that it seems unreasonable. They note that Group 3 is only 2 minutes ahead of third place and wonder if they might get overtaken. Kim Sun-woo notices their concern. Seo Jun smiles and says that thanks to Sun-woo, they achieved second place. Sun-woo responds that it was not really because of him, leading the others to smile around him. They praise him, saying that without him clearing the barrier, their ranking would have fallen. Sun-woo responds that he performed poorly and should have secured first place. One classmate insists they finished quickly because of Lee Seo Jun. Another adds that it is only the first floor of week 1 and that the test is not over. The group agrees that they only need to overturn the results later. A teacher approaches and calls for student Kim Sun-woo. Sun-woo answers. He recognizes the teacher as the one in charge of support magic. The teacher tells Sun-woo she has come to make him a proposal. Sun-woo asks what she means, and she abruptly tells him to transfer to the support department immediately. Sun-woo is confused, and the teacher grabs his hand excitedly. Sun-woo repeats his confusion, then tells her he does not want to transfer. The teacher panics and asks him to listen to the conditions first. She offers him a special talent scholarship worth 50 million won. She asks again if he is interested. Sun Woo replies that he is not interested at all. Students nearby stare at him. One student calls out to him asking why he refused the offer and says he is weak in manifestation magic anyway. They say they would have transferred immediately. Other students agree. The girl named Yuara steps forward and asks Sun Woo if he truly will not transfer. Kim Sun Woo listens as she explained that special talents receive many benefits beyond the scholarship. Sun Woo thanks her but says he will continue with manifestation magic. Era looks surprised. The scene shifts to the academy building where a girl walks through the hallway. She notices someone and pauses. She calls him Senior Kim Shin-wook. He corrects her saying his name is Kim Sun Woo. She laughs and apologizes. She asks why he's cleaning. He says the place was dirty, so he cleaned it. She comments that he is nice and wishes him a good day before leaving. As she walks away, she thinks that what he is doing is pointless. Sun Woo receives an achievement notification called the Small Bride along with a reward of 1,000 points. He wonders how he is supposed to explain earning that achievement. He finishes cleaning and leaves the hallway as Lyo Jun watches Sun Woo from behind a wall with a slight smile like he's interested in Sun Woo or something. At the lecture hall, it is filled with students as the instructor explains that many types of monsters exist. An image of a beast-type monster is projected beside him. He continues describing categories such as humanoid, beast, and flying types, then states that the most dangerous among them are the demonized. He asks why demonized beings are dangerous. Sun Woo answers that unless they drop their disguise or go berserk, they are indistinguishable from humans. The instructor agrees, adding that they drink human blood and control monsters, calling them absolute evil rooted in society. He explains that ordinary people cannot identify a demonized being without equipment, though under certain conditions their eyes turn black. Suna listens, startled at the mention of demonized beings. He remembers that in his previous life at this time, in the upcoming Weekends episode, the demonized appear for the first time, including one defeated by a student none other than Lee Seo-jun, which becomes news. Sun Woo thinks the protagonist will handle the situation, but considers checking for danger nearby. He then worries about needing money if he plans to follow Lyajin's outside activities. Sun Woo meditates in training. He concentrates with swirling green energy surrounding him, focusing as energy gathers around his chest. He continues until mana screens appear around him. While he remains seated in meditation, mana increases slightly, and due to the effect of nature's blessing, Kim Sun Woo gains an additional amount. A notification states that nature's blessing proficiency has increased by 12%. Sun Woo reflects that his training during free time is paying off. He stretches and notes that he has accumulated a considerable amount of mana. More notifications appear. One states that the trait nature's blessing has risen to rank 2. Another states that the active effect of nature's blessing has been unlocked, allowing the use of nature's heart. Light spreads around him as the system displays the message. Sun Woo decides that purchasing nature's blessing was the correct choice. He opens the trait window. A cooldown description appears. Nature's heart increases mana recovery speed by 1,000% for 1 minute and has a cooldown of 24 hours. He notes that although the cooldown is long, mana regeneration becomes extremely fast during its duration. He considers that he can use the effect whenever necessary and insists that manifestation magic suits him. He recalls when a teacher mentions Kim Sun Woo to transfer to support magic immediately. Sun Woo continues walking and thinks that dispelling barriers is more convenient for others as he cannot create them himself. He hesitates because the scholarship offer is tempting. Sun Woo checks his account balance, which shows 38,001. He acknowledges that being a student means having very little money. Sitting down, he wonders if there's a quick way to earn money through short trades. He considers dungeon runs, monster hunting, and selling dropped items, but rejects the idea as too dangerous. He thinks about climbing towers as another option, but he notes that he is still a student and can only handle low-tier ones. A reminder appears that he cannot obtain a license because he is a minor. Sun Woo stands in contemplation, tapping his head as he tries to think of another method. Sun Woo suddenly raised a finger as an idea struck him. At that night, a teacher entered the staff room and told the others he had seen an admirable student. Another teacher identified the student as second-year Kim Sun Woo, explaining that Sun Woo had arrived early in the morning and clean. The staff discussed how Sun Woo always focused well, participated actively, and maintained a good attitude in class. One teacher remarked that this was typical of manifestation students. Another teacher mentioned that someone had tried to scout Sunu, but she believed he would not fall for it easily. She then commented that it was nice to see such a diligent and pleasant student these days. Sun Woo elsewhere realized that the praise did not necessarily have to be directed toward a student. He acknowledged his own cleverness. A notification informed him that the achievement titled Student Loved by Teachers had been completed, granting him 2,000 points. Sun Woo welcomed the sudden extra points and opened the point shop. The interface activated the search function, and he purchased something costing 10,000 points. Afterward, he resolved to make full use of it and earn money while nearby students looked at him in disbelief. On Saturday morning, Kim Sun Woo heads to a government building. A security officer stops him, and Sun Woo says he wants to apply for a mage license. The officer asks for identification. Sun Woo produces his wallet and hands over his absolutely fake license, saying he has it ready. His ID shows he is Kim Jin Woo, age 25, grade C. The officer examines the license, checks it with a device, and waits. As the verification process runs, the machine displays the data and confirms grade E Wizard Kim Jin Woo, age 25. The man smiles and says it is nice to meet him. Sun notes that the test was tougher than expected. Sun Woo thanks and recalls a memory of himself observing carefully, while system shows him the information of new and helpful for creating his own ID. He returns to the system screen, where the point shop shows an option to set ID details and issue a wizard license at the same time for 10,000 points with a purchase limit of 2. Sun Woo presses claim. The system projects a glowing license. Explanations appear stating that wizard licenses in this world are special because they contain a unique magical formula that prevents forgery. Sun Woo acknowledges this and thinks that using magic glasses give him Clark Kent ability so that no one can recognize him, as his disguise will be perfect. Sun Woo steps across the floor and thought that he must clear the tower and then use the shortcut to the 9th floor. He checks the time and confirms that Lai Jin will fight the boss at 8 p.m. He walks through the entrance, and a greeting message welcomes Kim Jin Woo to the Tower of Proof. A message states he can enter up to floor 10. As he stands on the platform, it asks which floor he wants to move to. He selects the 10th floor. Another message explains the floor has already been cleared and that rewards will be reduced if he clears it again. Sun Woo replies that it does not matter and asks to proceed, thinking his objective is different. Light engulfs him, whereas Sun Woo thought that portals are used to move between tower floors. There are many kinds of towers in the world, and the strength of the monsters and the difficulty of traps vary between towers. The Tower of Proof, which appears in the original side story, is unusual enough that many guilds avoid challenging it. Sun enters the 10th floor. A message confirms entry. He walks forward when he suddenly senses danger. Several red eyes glare at him from the darkness. A black wolf with glowing eyes approaches. The wolf roars and rushes directly toward him, but his casted spell cut it down instantly. It is clear that the monsters appearing here were relatively weak. A system message appeared and marked his first hunt as complete, granting him 1,000 points as a reward. In this, traps and high-level magical formulas were scattered everywhere. He stepped forward, a magic circle glowing behind him. He considered that the tower was practically made for him. He checked at the time on his wrist, thinking it should be enough to clear the place. Nearby crowds gathered along the Han River. One boy noted how many people there were, and Liao Jun answered that it wasn't even festival time yet. The first boy suggested taking a photo, and Liao Jun asked what kind. The boy laughed and said photos were memories. He pulled him in for a picture. Whereas in the tower, a beast burst upward as Sun Woo unleashed another spell, the attack spiraling through the creature. Sun Woo walked forward through the fading light of the impact and stopped as a glowing shard rolled at his feet. He picked up the magic gem, calling it his lucky day and deciding at least his transport money was covered. He reached a wall deeper inside the structure, tapping along the surface and saying it should be around here. He found a faint glow and reached toward it. Light spread across his hand as hidden formulas activated around him. The system messages faded, and Sun Woo stepped through the glowing doorway as light washed over him. The reward notifications echoed behind him while he entered the hidden floor of the Tower of Proof, the imaginal world. The tower reacted immediately. The mana of mystery stirred like a rising tide. Warm radiance burst across his vision. A sprawling dreamlike garden stretched ahead, filled with towering statues, hanging vines, and drifting petals. Sun Woo paused at the entrance as another achievement notification appeared, awarding him more points. He looked around, unsure, wondering if this was all there was, but a strange orb of knowledge drifted overhead, whispering that those who climb the Tower of Proof must be judged. A statue's eyes lit with golden light, its voice resonating through the air as it asked him to prove himself. The statue raised a hand, and its gaze sharpened. Sun Woo braced instinctively. The moment he moved, light sliced downward, and he dodged with a sharp breath. Mana surged behind him, gathering at his palm as he swung upward to counter the looming force. The sky bloomed with shimmering bursts as tiny winged creatures stirred. Their laughter scattered like chimes carried by wind. Sun Wu slowed at the sight of dozens of flower fairies drifting from the garden's blossoms. They circled him playfully at first, but the glint in their eyes shifted. The fairies' grins twisted into something hungry. He quickly assessed them. They were small monsters, more annoying than dangerous. But as soon as they recognized a human, they swarmed. He stepped back as the creatures dove toward him. A burst of wind redirected one of them midair, sending it crashing against the garden path. The rest shrieked, their wings vibrating furiously. Sun Wu tightened his stance as he spread mana through his hand, preparing another spell. He knew from experience that these monsters tended to explode into dust the moment they were defeated. Sun Wu swung his spell outward and urged himself to hit at least one of the fairies. The blast struck through the swarm, scattering them. One fairy faltered, and he steadied himself on a glowing magic circle beneath him. He realized that even if he defeated all the fairies, he still couldn't clear the floor. The statue's voice asked again if he could prove it. He answered internally that unleashing everything couldn't be proven with that. A system message activated his innate trait, Outsider's Benefit, and began interpreting the magical formula. Symbols rearranged themselves into readable text. The tower urged him once more to prove it. Blue energy spread around him as he faced the floating formula. He answered that he would do it. The formula expanded, reacting to him. He noted that his uniqueness was reacting to it, and it was the ability he gained as an outsider in this world. The ground beneath him shifted as another system message appeared. Achievement recognized by the Tower of Proof unlocked, awarding him 10,000 points. Light engulfed him as he arrived in a chamber with towering statues. A message declared that the Tower of Proof bestowed a blessing upon him. Another message granted him the adaptive trait Tower's Proof rewards materialized before him. An enchanting book, the soul of a red dragon, a sacred herb seed, and 5 sacred herbs. More items filled the display. Equipment, rare materials, and other rewards. System messages displayed increases in magic by 5, mana recovery speed by 20%, and magic power by 10%. Sun Wu clenched his fist and said it was done. A message congratulated him. Fireworks erupted as the tower announced that he had successfully cleared the hidden floor of the imaginal world. Scene shifts, and we see Liu Jun and his classmate that commented that things were finally starting. Liu Jun told him to check something. When he looked, he saw the photo they had taken earlier and asked why it looked like that. Liu Jun told him to look closely. He zoomed in, and his expression shifted with shock. The image revealed a man wearing a hat behind them. He wondered if those eyes could be a mind's eye. Sun Wu noticed the same man, wandering unsteadily near a building. He watched the clock tower and muttered what the time was. He grew tense as he thought it was getting closer to 8. He questioned why Liu Jun had not appeared yet. He waited while the man continued stumbling across the rooftop park. Sun Wu checked the time again, realizing it was almost 9, and wondered if he had to intervene himself. He reminded himself this was part of the main story, not a side quest. If he handled it wrong, he could break the plot. As the man swayed forward, a student ran toward him and asked if he was all right. Red markings spread across the man's body as his eyes glowed. He slowly turned toward the student. Sun Wu silently murmured, "No," as he saw blood splatter across the ground. The injured student collapsed, choking and coughing as the man tightened his grip around him. The man's eyes glowed red as he swung violently, tearing into the student and throwing him aside. He struck again, crushing him with repeated blows until the body fell limp. Dark energy surged through him as his muscles swelled and his form twisted. A girl nearby screamed as the transformed man turned toward her. His body expanded again, crackling with dark power. People watching from a distance identified him as a demon and said he had gone berserk. Some urged others to call for help and reported immediately. Sun Wu grabbed his staff, thinking there was no time to hesitate. He ran forward. He then thought to forget the stick and focused on saving the people first. The boys who reported the photo spoke to an officer who confirmed their report. The officer examined the image and stated the eyes belonged to a person without a doubt. He identified himself as Wizard Association Counterterrorism Special Force Agent John Hansu. The agent reviewed the photo and confirmed it was taken nearby. The 2 boys answered that it was. He assessed the situation, calling it a disaster with crowds gathered because of the festival, adding that the creatures became stronger the more blood they consumed. Liu Yun suddenly reacted, sensing something unusual. He identified the surge of mana and stated he was certain. The agent immediately sprinted toward the source. Elsewhere, a group questioned whether the area was even safe. One of them noticed someone approaching and asked who it was. The transformed man advanced toward the girl as she begged anyone to help her. The creature struck down, forcing the girl to fall back. She screamed while Sun Wu intercepted the attack, just in time. He noted how close it was. The creature then redirected its focus and began running after her again. Sun Wu judged the demon to be at least rank B and considered direct confrontation equal to death. He prepared mana, deciding to use all of it at once. He released the attack, directing it toward the creature. He reminded himself to aim for the weak point. The blast hit the creature in the head. Sun Wu stood frozen as the mutated man rose from the shadows, his eyes reflecting the approaching threat. The creature's staggering steps sent dust curling through the night air. The monster's half-destroyed face twisted as it regenerated, flesh crawling back over bone. Sun Wu realized his earlier attack hadn't fully destroyed its brain. The beast growled, surging with darker energy. Sun Wu leapt forward, clutching his staff as he closed the distance. Landing hard, he steadied himself and admitted he had planned to save his next move for later, but now had no choice. Lines of blue light flashed across his body as a notification activated. The skill heart of nature awakened, filling him with surging mana, his recovery speed instantly increasing. Mana swarmed around his hands, coiling into several glowing orbs. He acknowledged he might not finish the creature within a minute, but he could at least it. The monster lunged. Sun Wu sent the orbs spinning into formation, propelling himself forward with enhanced speed. He hurled the barrage toward the charging creature, driving it back with repeated blows of concentrated mana. Sun Wu extended his hand again, releasing another surge. Multiple blasts struck the monster's face, hammering its head and staggering it further. Then he urged the creature to try blocking it. The creature raised its arms to defend as he declared he was aiming only for its head. The monster roared as the strikes hit. Sun Wu noted that his attacks were working and thought that if he kept this up, he could finish it. A sudden flicker of light leaked from his chest, and he reacted with surprise as the mana within him trembled. He realized that a minute had already passed. He clicked his tongue and judged that at this rate he would not be able to hold the creature back. The monster's body swelled again with dark power. Before it could advance, a sharp slash cut through the air. A figure struck downward, severing the creature's head in a single motion. Sun Wu stared, shocked, as the body collapsed. The agent stepped forward and stated that the situation had been contained. He introduced himself as Zhang Hyun-soo from the Special Force. He said they had resolved the incident easily thanks to Sun Wu. He asked for Sun Wu and LT, Unk and GT's wizard license to verify his identity for the reward. Sun Wu handed it over. The agent examined it and commented that he had assumed Sun Wu was at least rank B. Two boys arrive while Sun Wu, startled, turns toward them. He recognizes Lee Seo-jin and Shin Yong-jin, wondering why they arrived so late. Frustrated, he scolds them internally for showing up only now. He notes that they should have been there earlier. Seo-jun then observes a man standing with a police officer and feels that he has seen him somewhere before. Kim Sun-woo, noticing their attention, glances back with unease. Seo-jun steps forward and asks if he knows someone named Kim Sun-woo. Seo-jun adds that Sun-woo attends the Magic Academy. Jin then remarks that he now sees a resemblance and asks if they are related. Kim Sun-woo denies it, saying it is the first time he has heard that name. The officer beside him dismisses the idea of any resemblance and urges the boys to move along. Sun-woo then turns to Kim Sun-woo and thanks him for what he did earlier. The officer simply states that he only did what was necessary. He says he will be taking his leave, adding that reporters and agents will soon arrive to handle the aftermath. Sun-woo thanks him, saying his life was saved. Later, as Kim Sun-woo walks away, a notification appears before him. It states that he participated in the subjugation of the B-rank villain John Han. Kim Sun-woo pauses surprised and questions how he ended up being counted in the subjugation. He thought, isn't it deviating too much from the original story? System window shows that he has been rewarded with points and that his causality has increased. He reads the explanation of causality, learning that it is gained by resolving key events and that authorities can be activated by consuming it. He considers the change, realizing it occurred because of his intervention. As he reflects, he recalls that in the original timeline, Liu Jun died without his involvement. He wonders if the rise in causality means he can save him this time. Another window opens, listing authorities that unlock with higher causality. He studies the information carefully, recognizing that reaching a high enough value would allow him to accomplish anything he desires. The thought leads him to imagine returning to the real world. A memory surfaces of himself surrounded by friends in the past, reacting with excitement. When a memory fades, he steadies himself. The conclusion becomes clear to him. There is no reason to hesitate. he resolves to intervene actively, deciding that protecting Liu Jun and gaining more causality must become intentional actions rather than coincidences. A notification arrives with his monetary reward for the subjugation. He acknowledges it with brief surprise and decides that bringing the evidence back to the dorms would have been troublesome, so the quick reward is convenient. Thinking about the day he has had, he considers using the money to rest properly. He travels to the Wizard-exclusive hotel owned by the Hanung Group. He recalls the group's worldwide influence and their importance in the original story. Entering the hotel, Kim Sun-woo pauses for a moment, taking in the environment as he prepares to proceed further. Han Se-jin, the vice chairman of Hansung Group, arrives at the event, drawing attention. Staff greet him respectfully as he passes through. He is reminded that his sister, Hansen, has expressed her intention to attend the dinner, and he acknowledges it, noting it has been a long time since he last saw her. Kim Sun-woo observes him quietly, recalling that a character named Han Shaun existed in the original story. Later, in his hotel room, Sun-woo examines the items he brought with him. He considers selling the conspicuous spear and sets aside the enchantment scroll for future use. He also prepares the medicinal herbs he plans to give to Han Shaun. Sun-woo decides he will need to wait until the next day. Morning news begins broadcasting, reporting that a C-rank wizard has recently gained attention for clearing the hidden floor of the Tower of Proof and for subjugating a berserk demon at Han River Park. The Wizard Association praises the wizard's actions and announces a review for his promotion. Sun-woo watches people react to the news in public. Notifications appear for him, an achievement called Small Hero, gratitude from 2 million citizens, and increased interest from many characters. The accumulated reactions grant him a total of 21,000 points. Sun-woo takes in the results with satisfaction. He decides that with his identity somewhat verified, he should visit Han Zion. He heads to Hansung Pharmaceuticals. People around him recognize him from TV and whisper about his appearance. Sun-woo notes that being famous feels good. He stops when he notices an older man approaching. He recognizes him as Jang Sugi, the sword of the Hanung family and an S-rank wizard. Sun-woo questions why an S-rank appears as soon as the door opens. Jang Suji also recognizes him as the person from the news. Sun-woo introduces himself as Kim Jin-woo and states that he wants to sell medicinal herbs obtained from the tower, requesting a personal appraisal from the director. Inside the office, Han Zion receives him. She remarks that it is interesting to be visited by the person currently receiving public attention and finds the item he brought even more intriguing. She examines the herb and identifies herself as the youngest daughter of the Hanung Group. She senses energy from the plant, but notes that it lacks the monostems normally found in medicinal herbs. She explains that it is difficult to handle, yet clearly exceptional. She asks how he discovered its efficacy. Sun-woo answers that he has studied medicine for a long time. He thought that the sacred herb is a special medicinal ingredient that greatly amplifies the efficacy of other ingredients but has no effect by itself. Also, processing the herb is extremely difficult and that no one currently has the ability to handle it properly. He concludes that the best option is to entrust it to a genius pharmacist. She remains unsure but focuses on the herb itself and asks if Kim Sun-woo has specific conditions. Sun-woo raises his hand and states his terms in advance of 500 million won and a 0.0005% stake in Hanung Pharmaceuticals. Cyan repeats the percentage in surprise. He emphasizes that stocks are better than cash, arguing that once the sacred herb is commercialized, she will dominate the pharmaceutical market. Shaun rejects giving equity and tells him to request something else. Sun-woo, expecting that response, asks for a VIP membership to the underground auction and adds that he wants to commission potion crafting and item procurement, stating he will pay for those services. Shaun grows quiet as she considers it. Sun-woo tells her that in exchange, he will reveal a weakness of her brother, Vice Chairman Han Sin. Shaun reacts sharply, startled. Sun-woo continues, saying she wants control of the Hanung Group enough that she does not care if it brings family conflict. Elsewhere, a news broadcast concludes a report on the wizard Kim Jin-woo and LT, Unk and GT's actions. A man watching comments that Jen Han is dead. The man watching the news insists they could have prevented Jan Han's death. He says that if they had stepped in first while Jan Han went berserk, the outcome would have changed. His anger rises as he recalls the moment, striking the ground and claiming they definitely could have saved him. Another man tells him to calm down, calling him Bait Gang. He explains that it was an order from their superior and that helping a comrade who went berserk in a crowded area would have endangered them. Bait Gang clenches his fists in frustration. Shouting in anger, he laments how long they must continue living in the shadows. His fury intensifies and he swears to kill Kim Jin-woo. The other man questions Bait Gang's certainty, noting that Kim Jin-woo seems to be getting close to Bake Gang's client. Bake Gang laughs it off, stating confidently that the client is a monster who would cut down their own family with a smile. Outside a building at sunset, Han-seen greets his younger sister. As she approaches the building, she waves and returns the greeting. He tells her it has been a while, and she smiles at him. Later, the two ride together in a car. He remarks that it is good to see her again and asks whether work at the company is manageable. She answers that the work is difficult and dealing with people is tiring, explaining that she feels mentally drained. Sajin comments that their father was hasty in giving him company shares at a young age. He jokes that she can hand over her company shares to him if it is too much, then adds that in exchange, once he becomes the chairman, he will give her the vice chairman position privately. She dismisses the idea. Elsewhere, Jin-woo saves her contact and notes that using 2 accounts should be safe. He reflects that meeting Han Xiaon was the right choice and that she handled selling the spear for him. He relaxes, thinking that she has reliable intelligence abilities. He recalls when he mentioned Xiaon that he will reveal her brother's weakness. She listens carefully and analyzes whether the information is useful. Jin-woo receives a notification on his phone. He opens a message from Han Xiaon stating that she will act as his errand helper for 1 month. Another message confirms she will send the payment and the spear sale price within the day, and she asks if he needs anything else. The system notifies him that her trust has increased and awards him points. Sun-woo looks at the screen in mild surprise. Kim Sun-woo looks at his phone and notes that the reply arrived faster than he expected, which works in his favor. He sends a request for potion crafting and an entrance ticket to the underground arena. Han replies that potion making takes time and that she will contact him when it is ready. Sun-woo confirms the deal and considers extending the arrangement later. Still posing as Kim Jin-woo, he thinks about how much the demons trouble him and recalls that the original novel contained a revenge storyline. Since he has saved enough points, he opens the shop's search function for sense-related traits. The results display 3 options, including a trait that detects killing intent within a radius. He checks its description and sees the high price. He acknowledges how expensive it is, but decides that he still needs it. Viewing the purchase as necessary for survival, he buys the trait. A few days later, Cian delivers the potions he requested, explaining that they were made using divine herbs and that the amplified effects also increase the side effects. Sun-woo, as Jin-woo receives them, checks the details of the mana elixir and examines its quality, noting that it appears to be in good condition. Examining one bottle, he reads that mana recovery speed increases greatly for 5 minutes, followed by mana exhaustion for 30 minutes. He concludes that the potion seems to be in good condition. Han Xiaon grows suspicious as she observes Sun-woo. She notes that a skilled wizard seeking such a potion is unusual and wonders how he knows about her and her brothers. When she asks about the weakness he mentioned, Sun-woo, or Jin-woo, explains that he learned it through a personal route and describes the findings as shocking. She recalls her brother's shady tendencies and remembers that he once killed someone. She also recalls that he had traces of contact with someone suspected to be a demon and demands to know how Sun-woo discovered this. Sun-woo attributes his knowledge to the original novel, recognizing Han's gene as a person who joins hands with a demon out of greed and becomes a blackened villain. Unable to explain this directly, he offers to reveal the information if Cian gives him 5% of Hanung Pharmaceutical shares. Sean refuses, telling him to just admit he does not want to explain. When he asks about the arena ticket, she says she secured one, but that it cannot be traded, so he must enter with her. He realizes this explains her disguised outfit. She asks what he plans to do in the arena, and he simply intends to multiply the money he earned. Cian reacts sharply, suspecting he will gamble everything. When he answers yes, she calls him crazy and declares their deal over after the month. A notification appears stating that Han Cian is greatly disappointed and Sunu and LT, Unk and GT's interest level with her drops significantly. He notes how disappointed she is, but decides it does not matter. He picks up a rabbit mask and puts it on, thinking that by the time they leave the arena, he will gain even greater trust. He and Han Xiaon head toward the guarded entrance. The guards acknowledge their arrival and check their access. One guard recognizes Sun-woo as a very important person member and welcomes him back. Sun-woo suddenly stiffens when he sees a man approaching. He internally identifies the man as Hong, an S-rank demon and top-tier villain. He realizes Harry and LT, Unk and GT's presence makes sense since Harry is the organizer of the arena. Harry greets them politely and hopes they enjoy their time. Sun-woo watches him leave and reminds himself to avoid involvement. They continue walking until the arena interior becomes visible. Noise fills the space as a large crowd gathers, cheering from above. Han Xiaon comments on the number of people in the excited atmosphere. Sun Woo explains that it is probably because of Yong Hong Soo. Sean reacts with confusion at the name. Sun Woo describes the man as the most popular fighter at the moment, a wizard who has held the champion title for 3 years and whose combat ability is practically a rank. Besides Sun Woo, Han Sung remarks that they won't earn much because everyone bets on the champion. Sun Woo then explains that to make money, a different approach is needed. Sun Woo raises his hand and says he will place a bet. The staff member tells him to proceed. Sun Woo states an amount, 530 million. He instructs them to put the entire 530 million on Yang Hongju's opponent. Sean reacts with surprise and questions why he is comfortable with that decision. Sun Woo asks who Yang Hongju and LT, Unk and GT's opponent is. She repeats the question shocked, whereas Harong is informed about the situation. He hears that a guest has wagered 530 million on Yang Hongju and LT, Unk and GT's opponent. He asks what kind of person made the bet, and the subordinate reports that the individual wore a rabbit mask, identifying him as the very important person seen earlier. Harry Yong observes that such an amount would be pocket change for someone wealthy and wonders if the gambler is simply a rich person with questionable taste. Elsewhere, someone bursts into the room, calling out Kim Jin-woo and LT, Unk and GT's name, and asking if he appeared at the underground arena. Bake Gang suddenly reacts in surprise, calling for Kim Jin-woo and questioning his appearance at the underground arena. Informer explains that the rookie participated in the event with Han Seon. Hearing this, Bake Gang becomes excited. He orders a car prepared immediately, vowing to avenge Jang Han before the night ends. Back in the arena, a brutal fight unfolds. Rayong Rianji clashes fiercely with his opponent, swiftly overwhelming him. The opponent screams and begs for mercy, then surrenders, but Rayong Rianji attacks again before withdrawing. The match is declared over, naming Rayong Rianji the winner. Spectators react wildly. Some who bet on him celebrate, others shout in anger. Seon observing this matter and thinks the underground atmosphere makes the reactions harsher, though she believes the organizers will prevent any deaths. The next match is announced. Riyang Riangi versus Yang Hongju. The betting screen displays 530 million placed on Rayong Rianji and 2.8 billion on Yang Hongju. The announcer remarks that nearly everyone played it safe by betting on the champion. Nearby spectators discuss how excessive the wager is, remarking that the payout on the underdog is high, but the risk is unreasonable. One of them points out that if Rayong loses, the bettor gets nothing, calling it foolish. Sun Woo ignores their chatter, privately calculating that if things go as planned, he will multiply his money nearly sixfold. Inside the arena, the champion Yang Hongju prepares for the fight, his physique drawing attention as the announcer declares that the fighters are entering. Rayong walks in next, drawing stunned reactions. Sun Woo realizes that Rayong is much thinner than expected and assumes it is because he has not fully grown yet. He reflects inwardly that money is not the only reason he came. In his mind, he recalls information about John, the villain group important to the main story, and how Rayong eventually joins them. This is why he wanted to see Rayong fight at least once. Some spectators wonders who is that guy who placed a massive bet on him, but Sun Woo reassures himself with knowledge from the original novel. As the match begins, Rayong surveys his opponent and quietly notes that the overall level here is too low. Feeling reluctant, Yang Hongju declared that he would end the battle quickly as he charged forward. Surrounded by energy, he dropped toward the grate while his opponent waited below. Yang Hongju lunged forward with speed, but Rayong slipped past him. He exhaled as he moved. Then Yang Hongju struck him hard. The impact sent Rayong flying back, smashing into the wall. Rayong steadied himself near the entrance while the opponent approached. Spectators reacted excitedly, and Sun Woo muttered in uncertainty, questioning whether Rayong could win. Outside, a car raced toward the location. Bake Gang considered interfering but restrained himself, thinking about Harry's event and the danger of ruining it. Bake Gang asked his driver when the event would end. Hearing that it was scheduled for 10:30, he decided there was no need to hurry and expressed his plan to kill. Inside the arena, Rayong countered with rapid strikes, energy bursting around him. His opponent, Yang Hongju, charged with a glowing fist, and Rayong met the incoming blow heat-in as the attack collided violently. Yang Hongju charges forward as Rayong weakly tries to rise. Yang Hongju punches him down again with force. Rayong crashes into the ground and struggles to stand. The audience chants Yang Hongju and LT, Unk and GT's name repeatedly. Rayong's supporter Sun Woo watches and reacts in confusion, wondering if Yang Hongju has actually won. Yang Hongju confidently assumes victory, but a sudden knife-like strike pierces his abdomen, causing heavy bleeding. He turns and sees Riang standing at a distance, the attack clearly coming from him. Shocked, Yang Hongju questions what happened. Riang approaches, exhausted but focused. Yang Hongju shouts in anger and rushes toward him again. Riang concentrates energy into his hands. Purple lightning-like power spreads outward as he releases it in all directions. The attack slams into Yang Hongju, tearing into him and forcing out a pained reaction. Yang Hongju collapses, blood pooling beneath him. Ray stands over Yang Hongju's collapsed body. The spectators watch silently. One masked spectator hesitates, unsure how to react, and another worries about what will happen now. Song questions whether Yang Hongju really lost, then reacts in shock. The crowd begins shouting insults, calling the fight cowardly. Sun Wu states that his business is finished and tells others to leave. As they walk away, Sean suggests they go together. From above, Haryong remarks that the outcome is too convenient and says Riang won because Yang Hongju lowered his guard. He adds that he senses intent behind the bet. He calls for Chief Young and then orders him to find a man who won money from today's bet. Outside, cars pass along the road. Inside the car, Sean questions to Sun Wu, asking what he is and how he knew Riang would win. He replies that it was a hunch. She complains he never told her anything. He checks his phone and notes that today is a jackpot. His account shows over 3 billion won. He acknowledges earning an achievement. Notifications appear stating he achieved the Peerless Gambler title and that Hansai trusts him again. Notifications appear stating that Hansai feels strong curiosity towards Sun Wu and her interest level is added. Her interest rises to level 1. Sun Wu thinks about unlocking the interest level and earning 7,000 points. A notification explains how he regains points he spent earlier. Another display shows that killing intent toward him has been detected along with details of the passive effect that senses killing intent within 500 m. Sun Wu reacts with sudden alertness. He senses killing intent. He recalls the original story. There was someone who wanted to avenge Jang Han. Cian asks why he is tensed. He calls out to Hansen. She appears confused as he addresses her. Their car swerves on the road. Meanwhile, another vehicle follows. The driver reports a change in the target's movement and asks what to do. Gang tells the driver to stop the car, then commands them to kill their target here. Sun Wu waits in an open area. Gang arrives, but sees that Han Sai is no longer present. He questions himself whether the man before him really killed Jang, noting the man's untrained body and weak energy. Whereas Sun and Wu drinks a mana elixir and ready himself for the fight. System displays that mana recovery rate is increased 100% for 10 minutes. Sun Wu says he noticed he was being targeted. Gang notes that the opponent's energy has shifted, though the surge still lacks any real threat. Flames erupt around Gang as he raises blazing weapons overhead, acknowledging that Sun Wu hadn't noticed his tail. He hurls a violent attack and demands Sun Wu's death, engulfing the field in fire. Sun Wu responds by gathering concentrated energy in his hands and launches a counterblast that collides with the incoming flames. The force creates a massive explosion, scattering light across the sky. Amid the aftermath, the attacker smirks, stating he still has 2 shots left. Sun Wu looks up sharply as fiery projectiles descend toward him again. A powerful explosion follows, lighting up the landscape. Far away while driving the car, Song calmly observes the distant blast and remarks that the plan is unfolding. She recalls her memories when Sun Wu felt sudden killing intent. She notices his expression and questions it, then admits she suspects someone is following them. She asks if any possibility of a rival company being involved. He tells her it's something like that, and instructs her to head to a place with no people. Sun Wu focuses on the road ahead, stating that he needs to catch the target. Cian asks if the person is someone he can take on, and he answers that it will not be easy, explaining that the opponent's mana is far above B rank, and she questions whether he is certain. Sun Wu maintains confidence and asks,